Hey Reddit, I have been with my current wife Amanda for the past 6 years, and we have two daughters, Becca, 4 years old, and Eliza, 2 years old. Together, while I have two kids from my previous marriage, Liam, 17, and Sage, 15. The divorce was less than amicable, and since my ex-wife had more money and a better paying job, she was awarded primary custody despite me fighting it. For the last 8 years, I've had my older kids every other weekend and on Wednesdays. A few weeks ago, my older kids asked if they could live with us full-time due to issues with their stepdad. Liam especially had come to blows with him a few times, and even their mother thought it would be for the best. I did talk to my wife about it, and I know she wasn't happy, as she feels uncomfortable around my older kids, although this is something she neglected to tell me until we had our first child together. Things since Liam and Sage moved in have been hard, and as much as I'd love to get some family therapy, my wife is against it, and we're on a waiting list. Before, when my kids would come over, my wife would take our daughters to her parents a lot to give us space, even though I never asked for it. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure being a step-parent is difficult, but my kids are really good kids. They have straight A's, lots of friends, play sports, and are incredibly respectful. I know I'm biased, but people go out of their way to tell me these things. So it has been terrible watching Amanda nitpick everything they do, almost as if she's waiting for them to slip up so she can send them back to their moms. We had already gotten into an argument over the holidays due to her trying to push them out of our traditions. Our older daughter, Becca, is going through a biting phase. Her school wants her to get overtime, and I've been working with our insurance since Amanda doesn't like the one at the school. But as always, it seems like there's an endless wait list. So obviously, the house is tense, and we've all been walking on eggshells. Then yesterday morning, when I was making us some breakfast, we heard a scream, and Becca came into the kitchen crying and saying that Sage hit her. Amanda ran into the den where Liam and Sage were and started screaming at them to leave. She was obviously pissed, but Sage told her she was sorry. She had been done with the TV, so had changed it to one of the girls' shows, and Becca got excited and bit her. She said she didn't mean to slap her and felt bad. I immediately calmed down because I think anyone has been there, but Amanda didn't believe her. Sage had a bite mark, for God's sake. Things continued escalating, and our girls were crying, and Amanda screamed at both of my older kids to leave. Sage told her she would, so she could calm down, and that pissed Amanda off more. Liam and Sage left for a friend and ended up spending the night there. So for the past day, Amanda has been on one, saying I needed to pack their things and send them back to my ex-wife's permanently. I can't keep dealing with this crap. I told her this morning that it was an accident and she needed to let it go, but she refused, even threatening to call the police. She said she could never be comfortable with her babies around Sage anymore and that she didn't feel safe. I laughed because Amanda herself once hit Becca for biting her. She ended up taking the girls to her mom's, and I told my kids to come back. Amanda has been texting me that she'll be back tomorrow and the kids need to be gone. I was ignoring her, but finally said this was their home, and if she was comfortable, she could pack up and leave. My parents came over and basically told me I wasn't wrong, but shouldn't have said she should leave. I know there are some things you can take back, but at this point, I almost mean it. I would hate to deal with another divorce, but Amanda has been so terrible to my older kids the past few weeks. I honestly feel like she's become a different person. Edit, just to clarify some things. When we had every other weekend plus Wednesday custody, my wife would take the girls to her parents on Wednesday only, and I would take the youngest to dinner. Before we had kids, she'd go to dinner, but our girls aren't the best at restaurants. She would be here on weekends. My son is not violent. His stepdad believed in violence as a form of punishment, which I do not and never did, but that's why they asked to live with me. Sage has gone from apologetic to fully devastated about this. She offered to go back to her mom's as long as Liam didn't have to. I told her that would never be necessary. She did not mean to hit her sister, and Becca was incredibly upset about biting her. We are working on it. But we are a single-income family, and I can't afford an overtime outside of my insurance. I am probably going to utilize the school's overtime, though, despite what Amanda said. Also, our youngest was not planned, but things seemed to be getting better, so we were excited. I did get a vasectomy after that, but I love all my children. Somebody asked, the will is a different story? Different story, same expectations from her? It seems she is not okay with you having other children altogether. She does not want your past life to affect her needs and wants. Original poster replied, basically. Their mom and stepdad have a ton of money in trust funds for them, so she thinks our money should only go to the kids we have together. She started bringing this up this summer, and I've been shutting. It doesn't she never used to talk like this. I don't know where she's getting it from. Somebody asked, curious, your older kids can't get along with any step-parent, but no one noticed that. Also, original poster doesn't give a damn about his younger kids, with Amanda. He is making them leave their home in favor of the older ones. Everything is his older kids. They know this and probably treat the younger kids like crap. Wonder why the first wife divorced him. Original poster replied, I don't blame my kids for hating stepdad. He was abusive. I'm handling that. I've asked Amanda what her issues with the older kids are, and her answers always boil to them not being her kids and wanting me to prioritize her over them. I am an active and involved father with all my kids, including my youngest. They're coming home tonight, as I always do bedtime routines. So freak off with that. Somebody said, your wife is trying to protect her kids from your other kids. She obviously doesn't feel safe with them in your home. I get that they are under 18, so you have a legal responsibility, and I applaud you for getting therapy. However, you need to be more understanding of what your wife is going through. You can't just throw her away in favor of your prior children's needs. That's not making her feel like she is welcome or appreciated. If I were your wife, I'd be thinking about leaving you and taking your current children in the divorce. I honestly can't believe you kicked your wife out of her own home. How often does Amanda take care of your children from a prior marriage? Does she want to? Maybe you need to hire a nanny if you can't handle your kids and their violent behavior. Yes, you are the butthole. Original poster replied, my kids are not violent, their stepdad is. My daughter was incredibly apologetic about hitting Becca and apologized right away. My older kids love their sisters and treat them great. Hence why my wife had them watching them while we made breakfast, as we've been busy with holidays. My wife does nothing for them. She is obviously busy with the toddlers, and my kids are teens. They have school, work, friends, and sports, so they're not constantly in her hair. They do their own laundry and pick up after themselves. I never kicked my wife out. She left, and I will not be kicking my children out. If she wants to continue throwing a tantrum because she didn't get her way, that's fine. My daughters are coming back tonight. Update. Edit. Can everyone stop telling me to save text messages? I'm not stupid, guy. I know that. I do want to point something else out because I'm getting attacked for it. I knew about Amanda's feelings after she gave birth because we're a married couple, but my older children did not. I even asked my kids if they had felt unwelcome, and both emphatically have said that prior to them moving in full-time, they were under no assumptions that Amanda felt anything but love for them. They knew that when she had kids, they would be her main focus, since Liam and Sage mostly lived with their moms, but didn't think her attitude towards them was off until they moved in. And yes, I did emphasize they should be honest with me, and they said they were, which is why everything that has been happening lately is so devastating for them. All 4 of my kids are okay, and with me. Amanda is still at her parents' house. My older 2 kids have told me some disturbing things that they've been feeling since moving in full-time. It took me a while to get it out of them. They said they've been uneasy and have felt like if they put a single toe out of line, they'd be forced to go back to their moms or be homeless. They've been trying to be good and perfect and nice, and they're getting worn down. They say they don't know what changed in Amanda because she used to love them and be kind to them, and I didn't have a good answer, but I told them it wasn't their fault. My son said he's worried that she'll tell the younger ones lies about them or something else, and they were uncomfortable being around the kids even though they love them. My daughter again offered to move back to her mom's if Liam can stay, which broke my heart. Liam said they would live with my parents if they'd have them, which hurt even more. I told them they weren't going anywhere. They said they know how upset I was after the divorce and don't want that, but I told them repeatedly my marriage wasn't their problem to worry about. Meanwhile, Amanda has been texting me nonstop. I've not been responding unless it was about Eliza and Becca. She has said some incredibly cruel things about me, my older two kids, and our relationship. Basically telling me my kids just want us to break up, just like their stepdad, and I shouldn't let them win. Calling them spoiled and entitled and smart asses who would ruin my life if I keep letting them. I obviously ignored that, but between all this texted me a list she wrote of her non-negotiables for her to move back in. They were all pretty deranged, except one did say she wanted cameras put up in common areas, which I've already decided on and ordered. But other than that, she demanded cutting Sage and Liam out of the will as they will get money from their mom, which is insane, and also it's hot. Like we're talking expecting to be able to leave much to anyone. The house is the one I had bought with my ex-wife. She wants to sell it and buy one to start fresh. I want to point out that when we got together, I told her I was definitely going to be staying in this house until my kids went to college, since it's their childhood home. And now it's our girls' childhood home, so I won't be leaving. They would need to find somewhere else to live when they turn 18. Also insane, because she knows I think that's trashy, and they turn 18 in the middle of their senior years. She did not want to have to do anything with my older kids, including family events, dinners, and vacations. And yes, that would mean excluding my oldest from any family vacations, pictures, all of that. She doesn't want her daughters around Sage or Liam. She wants veto power over any extra time or money I'd be spending on Sage and Liam to make sure things stay fair. Probably the most deranged one was that she wants half of the child support their mom is sending put into a retirement account in only her name. It was immature, but I just did the ha-ha thing to that text, and she sent some other BS texts to piss me off. I talked to my father-in-law earlier today when he dropped off the younger girls from church. He seemed annoyed with the whole situation and referred to it as Amanda's little tantrum. Originally, the girls were going to go home with them, but they threw a fit. Luckily, I'm off work this week to be with them. The sad thing is that Sage and Liam have been avoiding the younger girls, which is devastating for them, but I'm trying to work on explaining everything right now. I did find a therapist for my kids this week. It's out of pocket, but obviously I can't wait any longer. I don't know what Amanda is up to. She FaceTimed the girls earlier, but I don't talk to her. I don't know how fixable this is. I told her if she wanted therapy, I'd set it up, and she was emphatic that it was not necessary. I told her that was my non-negotiable, lol. So not a great update, but it's nice to get feedback. I might not update much if things go the way I think they're going, but I have to do what I have to do. Somebody asked in the comments section, I know this will get buried, and others will have asked the same question, but did all this craziness come out of nowhere? Original poster replied, I've been thinking about it a lot. It definitely was not present before our first was born. After that, she'd say things like, Sage and Liam have their mom. They don't need me anymore. I need to focus on Becca. And she did go on medication for PPD and anxiety. It got so much better, even though she was still pretty hands-off with the older kids, which is understandable. After Eliza was born, it got bad again. But after a few weeks, she seemed to get out of the fog, and we were happy. But when they moved in full-time a few weeks ago, it ramped up extremely. I have never heard her say some of the things she's texting me, and cannot believe they're coming from her mouth. Things used to work. We made sacrifices for one another. We talked things through and put all of the kids first. Even as recently as 2 years ago, Amanda was the one who taught Liam to drive since both my ex and I work a lot. When Sage's first little boyfriend broke up with her, she told Amanda first, and she took care of her. These things were even after the bad times after she had the girls. I don't know what has gotten into her. She is perfectly healthy and not on illegal drugs. Somebody said, honestly, I feel for her after reading her desperation. You refuse to listen to her feelings, and she doesn't want to be there. It takes two to make a happy home, and you're not willing to do something like start fresh somewhere. Your kids will live if they move away from their childhood home, as everyone else's kids do when life happens. You're making her miserable on purpose, and then you're acting shocked when she is miserable. Your kids saying that they are trying to be perfect and are worn down is a reflection of her trying to be perfect, and most likely pick up after your children, feed your children, and put her heart and soul into not only taking care of her own kids, but also yours. So the child support thing, as she is most likely literally supporting your children, and they are taking away from time with her own children, isn't really unreasonable unless you're doing everything both monetarily and in the home. I could address each of these individual points, but the only time she was out of her mind was when she chose you to be the father of her children. Heck, all that nonsense. She is not the asshole, you are. And you're so narcissistic that you'd rather her be gone than address the reasons she wants to be gone. And of course, Reddit usually sympathizes with the poster, but I can absolutely see why she's better off not with you. Original poster replied, "You don't think I considered this? All sides of everything? I've been racking my brain trying to figure out where it all went wrong. I was very clear about a few things when we met. In fact, I wasn't even that interested in dating for a few years, but she actively pursued me, and I'll be honest, I fell in love. But I told her that my kids in the house were not negotiable. If she didn't like it, she didn't need to pursue me. Yes, she's a stay-at-home mom, but does not do much for my kids, even living there full-time. Her schedule did not change at all when they moved in. Is it extra food and probably utilities? For sure. But they go out of their way not only to stay out of her way, but to help us out with chores because they're older. I'm not saying they don't leave hell out or stay up late, but we all do sometimes. It's nothing egregious. They're teenagers. So no? She was not running herself ragged, putting her heart and soul into my kids for the past few weeks. And I didn't expect her to. I expected her to be decent and welcoming because we are a family." Another question. Wow, what's the reasoning behind putting half of your ex's child support in an account in her name? Original poster replied, "Basically, she told me that she didn't have children coming into the marriage, but still accepted the fact that I had baggage, so she deserves twice as much as I gave my ex-wife? It makes no sense. She's acting as if I'm asking her to raise my older kids instead of coexisting with two independent teenagers, which is not going to happen now anyways, so it's a moot point." Original poster shared a new update. "Thanks for all your support. It's a little overwhelming. I'm not new to Reddit, but obviously made a separate account for this, and am pretty behind on responding, so I figured I'd just update here. So the reason my parents can't take my older kids is because, first of all, I am their father, and they are my responsibility, and not my parents. And two, they retired and downsized to a small 2-bedroom condo. Anyways, since she sent over her insane demands, my parents have changed their tune and no longer think I'm wrong for making her stay away. Which is not even what I'm doing. She won't come back unless my older kids are removed from their home. And that's not happening. So she stays away. But my girls begged to go and see her, and after talking to my lawyer, it's for the best to keep their relationship going if they ask. So my mom brought them over. In a vain attempt to shame Amanda, she brought up Sage offering to move back in with my ex. So she's been texting me super nice things all morning, the gist of it being that if Sage moves back with my ex Liam, can live with my parents, and everything will go back to normal. She said she'd even be okay with them coming over for every other weekend like before, and will drop her other demands, except the house one she still wants to move. I've been non-committal about it, just to keep her off my back, and she keeps sending me old pictures and even listings for houses. As if I don't think it's odd, she's only sending me 3-bedroom houses. I haven't told the lawyer about my posts, but I'm thinking once she gets served papers, I probably shouldn't update until it's all over. I don't know. I've changed enough little things that it might not matter, but I appreciate all the advice. I can't talk to my friends about any of this, and it's cheaper than my lawyer's hourly fee, lol." Somebody said, No. She is not texting you super nice things. She senses weakness due to your mother telling her that your daughter offered to move out. She is manipulative, not nice. Sorry, brother, but you need to fight her for primary custody of your younger daughters. You cannot let her damage them any more than she likely has already. Original poster replied, "Yeah, I know. Nice people don't go from calling someone used goods and weak to talking all sweet and sending houses in 24 hours. Whatever. I'll let her think everything's going to be okay." Somebody said, "Choose your kids. My parents chose their partners, and now I'm no contact with my mom and low contact with my dad. My dad's wife despises me so much. My dad finally, after 16 years of me trying to be nice, he agreed to keep us separated. Once my husband and I have children, he won't be allowed to take them. Unfortunately, if I couldn't trust him to protect me, I can't trust him to protect my kids." Original poster replied, "Jesus, I'm so sorry.